Hello students, in my previous class of this chapter number 5, refraction of light, I discussed about the concept of refraction, how the ray deviates and the laws of refraction. Laws of refraction, two law was there. First law, it was incident ray, refracted ray and normal. It lies on the same plane. It lies on the same plane at the point of incidence. This was the first law. Second, that is the ratio of sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction is a constant. This constant is called refractive index. And the concept of refraction was, it is the phenomena when a ray of light traveling from one optical medium to another optical medium, it deviates from its path, that is called refraction. And sin I upon sin r, this is called Snell's law. This is called Snell's law. Now, after this, we are going to discuss in detail about the refractive index. Refractive index, it is denoted by the letter mu, and it has no unit. Refractive index is denoted by mu and it has no unit, because it is the ratio of same quantity. Sin I by sin r is equal to mu. Refractive index, the speed of light in vacuum or air is same. The speed of light in vacuum or air, it is same, and this value is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. We know that the speed of light in vacuum, that is 3 into 10 to the power 8, but there is a slight difference between the speed. So we can say that almost it is the same. So we will use this speed of light in vacuum or air is 3 into 10 to the power meter per second. When the ray of light travels from one medium to another medium, it slowed down. When the rarer medium to denser medium it travels, so it bends towards the normal, and denser to rarer it bends away from the normal. So we can see that the extent of slowing down when a ray of light travels in any optical medium or any transparent medium, the extent of slowing down, it depends on two factors. First is, that is the optical density of medium. And second is color or wavelength of light. That is, it is the ray of light, it slows down. It depends on the two factors, that is optical density of medium, color or wavelength of light. It is found that with the help of the many experiments, that refractive index mu is equal to speed of light, or you can write that velocity of light in vacuum you can write in a more proper way. The speed of diffractive index is equal to velocity of light in vacuum divided by velocity of light in optical medium. That is refractive index in the terms of velocity. This formula can be used. Mu is equal to velocity of light in vacuum upon velocity of light in any optical medium. In this condition, already I said that velocity of light in vacuum or air, it is same, and this value is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. This is called this kind of the ratio, that is the ratio of velocity of light in vacuum to the velocity of light in any optical medium, that is called absolute refractive index. This is called absolute refractive index. Let me explain this refractive index in the form of velocity in a more detailed way. Now, one formula according to Snell's law, that is mu is equal to sin I by sin R. In the terms of velocity, mu is equal to velocity of light in vacuum divided by velocity of light in a given optical medium. This is called absolute refractive index. Absolute refractive index. But in general you can write that because velocity of light in vacuum or air is same, so you can write that velocity of light in vacuum or air. Suppose we are going to write the A mu B. How can we write the refractive index of B with respect to A? Or we can say that when a ray of light is traveling from optical medium A to an optical medium B. So what will be the formula? That is velocity of light in medium A divided by velocity of light in medium B. This will be the general formula for this. So we have the two formula, that is mu is equal to sin I by sin R, and if ratio of velocity of light in vacuum is to the velocity of light in given optical medium, if it is vacuum, then that is called absolute refractive index. In general, you can say that A mu B, velocity of light in medium A divided by velocity of light in medium B. Suppose we are going to write 1 mu B or 1 mu 2. So what will be the formula? Velocity of light in medium 1, velocity of light in medium 1 divided by velocity of light in medium 2. It will be helpful, this formula will be helpful in solving the numerical. Now, I am going to discuss that what is the cause of refraction. Why the ray deviates when it travels from one optical medium to another optical medium. So what is the cause of refraction? what is the cause of refraction? This is important point. The cause of refraction is that the light has different speed in different medium. Light has different speed in different medium. That is why refraction occurs. That is why the ray of light deviates from its path. Very important point. Question can be asked that what is the cause of refraction? You can say that the light refracted because the light has different speed in different, you can write here, or optical medium. This is the cause of refraction, and this is the formula in the form of velocity. Now we are going to discuss the next topic, that is the lateral displacement. Lateral displacement. What is the definition of lateral displacement? The perpendicular shift in the path of incident ray while emerging out from an optical slab is called lateral displacement. The perpendicular shift, this word is important. The perpendicular shift in the path of incident ray while emerging out from an optical slab is called lateral displacement. Let me explain this. What is the perpendicular shift and how it shifts from the actual path? Now suppose this is the one optical slab. It is made of glass. This is one incident ray. Here you may draw the normal. This is air and this medium is air. Glass, air, air. This is the incident ray. When the ray travels from rarer, this one is rarer, this is denser, and this one is rarer. When the ray of light travels from rarer to denser, it bends towards the normal. So this will be the towards the normal. At this point, again you will draw the normal. Now when the ray of light travels from denser to rarer, it bends away from the normal. This is the refracted ray. Incident ray, refracted ray, and finally it is emergent ray. If you want, you may write this is the incident ray, this is called a refracted ray, and this is called emergent ray. This is called emergent ray. So how can we say that it is the perpendicular shift? In fact, this is the actual path of incident ray. This is the actual path. This line shows that incident ray, this is the original path of incident ray without refraction. But due to the refraction, this is the deviation in the incident ray. So you can say that draw the perpendicular at this point. So this is the in R, suppose this name is RS. So this perpendicular shift, this perpendicular distance, this perpendicular shift in the path of incident ray, this is the incident ray, and this is the emergent ray. So perpendicular shift in the path of, this is the perpendicular distance in the path of incident ray while emerging out from an optical slab. This ray is emergent ray, it is emerging out. This is incident ray and this is the emergent ray. So what is the perpendicular shift of incident ray? This is the actual incident ray, and this perpendicular distance is called lateral displacement. It is denoted by RS. So you can say that RS is, that is lateral displacement. This is the lateral displacement. Now lateral displacement, it depends on the following factors. The following factors. First factor is, it is the directly proportional to the thickness of optical slab. Second is that lateral displacement. Here you write lateral displacement. Lateral displacement is directly proportional to angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. Then third factor is lateral displacement is directly proportional to the refractive index of medium. And fourth is the lateral displacement is inversely proportional to the wavelength of light. So these are the four factors on which the lateral displacement depends. Now once more, what is the lateral displacement? Perpendicular shift in the path of incident ray. This is the incident ray. This is the perpendicular shift of the incident ray. Because of the refraction, this is the emergent ray. So this perpendicular distance is called the lateral displacement. Lateral displacement depends on the following factor. It is directly proportional to the thickness of optical slab. It is made of glass. Second, lateral displacement is directly proportional to angle of incidence. Angle of incidence, angle between normal and incident. Third, lateral displacement is directly proportional to refractive index of the medium. And fourth, lateral displacement is inversely proportional to wavelength of light. On these four factors, the lateral displacement depends. Now we are going to discuss the principle of reversibility of light. Now the principle of reversibility of light. What is the principle of reversibility of light? If a ray of light traveling from medium A to medium B along a certain path. If a ray of light traveling from medium A to medium B along a certain path, it will follow exactly the same path while traveling from medium B to medium A. What is the meaning of this? Suppose that this is one medium A, rarer medium, this is medium B, denser medium. When the ray is traveling from A to B, rarer to denser, it is the incident ray, it is the refracted ray towards the normal. It will follow the same path while traveling from medium B to medium A. How it can return to the same path? Here it will be the one mirror, and mirror will be placed at the 90 degree. You know that in the reflection chapter when the ray strikes normal, then it will reflect it back to the same path. That is why plane mirror is attached at the 90 degree. So when if a ray of light traveling from medium A to medium B along a certain path, this is the certain path, it will follow exactly the same path while traveling from medium B to medium A. This is the principle of reversibility. What will be the conclusion of this? This is the angle of incidence, this is angle of refraction. If we will write A mu B, when the ray of light is traveling from A to B, so it will be sin I upon sin R, right? If the ray of light traveling from medium B to medium A, now if this is the incident ray, this is the refracted ray. In this case, when the ray is traveling from B to A, so what will now this is the angle of incidence, this will be the angle of refraction. So you will write sin R upon sin I. When A to B, sin I by sin R. When B to A means this angle of refraction will be the angle of incidence when the ray will start from here, and sin I will be the angle of refraction when B to A. Suppose this is equation 1, this is equation 2. If we will multiply these two, A mu B into B mu A, what will be the value? Sin I upon sin R into sin R upon sin I. It will cancel. So A mu B into B mu A, that is equal to 1. So what will be the formula? A mu B is equal to 1 upon B mu A. This is the conclusion of the principle of reversibility. Very useful result of this principle of reversibility. Once more, when a ray of light is traveling from medium A to medium B, this is rarer, this is denser, along a certain path, it will follow exactly the same path while traveling from medium B to medium A. A mu sin R. When the ray is traveling from B to A, now this angle is angle of incidence and this angle will be angle of refraction. So sin R upon sin I. If we will multiply these two, so left hand side A mu B into B mu A is equal to 1. So A mu B is equal to 1 upon B mu A. So this is all about the principle of reversibility. In my next class, I will discuss some of the specific numericals based on the principle of reversibility, and we will start the next unit, that is real and apparent depth. So revise all these topics through your textbook, and derivation of all the derivations of this chapter is very important. So attend the class very seriously. Thank you so much.